In this video, we're getting into fill and refining bounce. Now, what's interesting is that these types of lighting setups, what we're doing in these videos is far less dramatic than the other shots, but I actually feel like the difficulty level of fill and refining bounce is much more difficult than dramatic light. Why? Because dramatic light is simple. You simply go into a scene and you just overpower it. You go into a scene and you just go full power on your flash and you just start firing away and you bounce and overpower light. Great, dramatic, awesome. Refining or adding fill or these small changes to modify color, to modify direction, to modify the amount and quality. These are the things that in my book are more difficult because they take a little bit more experience to understand and to see. And it takes a little bit more of a softer hand to know that, hey, for the look I'm going for, I don't need full power. I don't need, even close to that. I just need a small kiss of light. Anything that requires a small kiss, well, that's a more difficult technique. All right, let's talk through these. So the primary tips is that a soft fill, it can be used to refine the quality or the direction of existing light. So we're kind of going to do all of these in these three examples. Number two, also lighting from the same direction as existing light, if you want to amplify, is a fantastic tool. It's actually what we're doing in this shot right here. We're actually just simply adding to the existing direction of light and amping it up with our flash. Number three, just as before, expose first for the background, analyze your subject, and then add the light afterwards, okay? Let's start over here. Now with the gear list, again, of course, only some of these things are going to apply to each one, so just feel free to take a look at the gear list and you can decide what you need in each one of these scenes. We're going to use certain things. I'll talk through each of the gear that we used for each one. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so starting with the top left. This was an actual engagement session that we did with this couple, and they wanted to do kind of like a Saturday mid-afternoon lifestyle session where it's something that they might do on a Saturday. They might get together, they're going to cook, they're going to enjoy like a nice little brunch together before going out with the puppies and so forth. So we're literally shooting to mimic their typical day. And I love these types of sessions because they end up being very natural and very just light and candid, and they're really fun to shoot. So as you can imagine, as far as the lighting goes, I want to have a light that matches that kind of emotion, fun, natural, candid. If I shoot this and overpower this entire scene and I just have this little spotlight right on them and it's super dramatic, it's going to look really strange. It's not going to look like it fits what they're doing. Instead, I walked in the scene, I took this first shot, okay? So I just took this first shot and I looked at it, and basically, we'll show a couple other images too. But basically what we have here is the top left image is that on a 50mm 1.2L lens. Again, any 50mm will work, but we're at 1/200th of a second at f2 and ISO 400. What I end up noticing is that the ambient light's good, it's coming through the window and everything, but it's kind of a little bit lacking in color and just in quality. The color of it is a little bit more on the green side because it's kind of bouncing off, their walls and all the other stuff that they have in their house, which has a slight green tint to it. And so it doesn't have the cleanest look to the overall color. And also, as far as the brightness and just contrast and everything, it's just a little bit lacking. So what do? I think, okay, I just need a soft amount of light, just a soft amount of fill flash, just to kick up the color a little bit, kind of clean it up a little bit and get a brighter overall look. I want to shoot this scene to essentially be what I refer to as pure white or high key. I want it to look bright and look airy, not blown out, just bright. So on camera right, I set up a stand with a white over silver, okay? Set it up relatively high. All I do is just aim my flash right over to that side. I dial the zoom in to 105, and I just bounce off of it. And we're bouncing at an extremely soft amount, okay? Keeping the camera the same, we're bouncing it around 1/8 to 1/16th power or even less. We're just adding a subtle kiss of light, and what that light does immediately is just clean up the overall look in the shot. It cleans up the color, cleans up the light, gives me more pop to the image, and it looks fantastic, and I love it. Okay? And then we just go through and shoot that exact same way throughout this entire scene, slightly moving the reflector based on my position, based on whatever we're doing at that point. Image number two. Now, this top image is just natural light. So how was it shot? It was on the 85mm 1.2 Mark II, and this is at 1/200th of a second at f2 and ISO 50. Once again, there's nothing wrong with this first shot stylistically. It looks great. It's a nice natural light shot. It has a great feel to it, and I dig it. The only thing is that it lacks direction of lighting, And so sometimes I like to add a little bit of kiss of direction. Like right now it's just kind of flatly lit, but it still looks good and it's still totally acceptable. But I knew I wanted to add just a little bit of flash, just a little kiss of flash again, just to kick it up a little bit, add and amplify a little more catch light and so forth. So what do? Again, white over silver reflector just placed off to camera left. We're shooting fairly tight on her. And with the same settings, 1/200 of a second, f2 and ISO 50, I'm bouncing at around 1/4 to 1/8 power. And based on the power of the flash right there, I'm pretty sure that we did have the 5-stop ND filter on, because that would have been way too much if we didn't have the 5-stop ND on. From this, we get this nice, we basically just modified, we've refined the direction of light, we've added a direction of light to the shot, and we get this beautiful catch lights. We get a very soft light. That white diffused light looks fantastic. No additional work done, this is the shot. Over here at the top, Yvette, once again in the desert. Here, we're on the 85 1.2L Mark II. Again, we're at 1/160th of a second, f1.2, ISO 100. We're with the 5-stop ND filter. What have we done here? We have added a silver reflector that's catching the sunlight, and it's getting close to around sunset right now. So we're catching sunlight. It's still fairly bright, but it's kind of orange too. We're also cutting off the light from the background just by scrimming her from the back. So I have a reflector behind scrimming the light from the back, so we have no light coming in from the back, or not no light, but it's basically just blocked or essentially just dimmed down. So we have no direct light from the back. From the front, we have that silver adding light into her face. At 1.2 ISO 100 and a 1/160th of a second, this is the shot that I get. Now, it's a little bit dark. And also the light doesn't quite wrap the way I want it to. So, but everything else about it I love. It looks really fantastic. But the thing is that I don't want to raise my ISO. I'm at ISO 100. I want to have the best image quality possible for this image. I also don't want to change my aperture because I'm at 1.2. I can't allow any more light in. I don't want to change my shutter speed because I'm at 1/160th of a second on the 85 and I want to make sure it's tack sharp so I have as much detail as possible. So what do? Power up the flash. Sun is setting. Okay, so it's not completely set, but at least the light that we're getting from the sun is no longer that 5500 degree Kelvin light. So I put a gel under the flash. We put a gel right on the flash head, and with that CTO gel, I bounce into the reflector, so it's matching the same light that's coming from the sun, and then going into her. Now we get a beautiful soft wrap around her. We brighten up everything. We amplify kind of the light going into her eyes, and essentially all we've done is we've added a refining light that amplifies existing light. The existing light being that silver reflector that we're adding in sunlight, now we're just boosting that up more with more power with the flash. So another great use of it, if you're kind of locked in terms of settings and you can't get additional light, add light with the same direction, the same everything, just by matching the direction of existing light and then pumping more light into it. And it works fantastically in virtually any situation. All right, so that's it here. So for each of these shots, for here we were actually using a stand, and the other places we actually had things held. Just decide. Most of the time we're going white over silver for all of these. I think actually, except for this one might have been just silver. I think this one's just silver. Yeah, this one's just silver. Everything else was white over silver. That's it for this video. Let's go ahead and move to the next one now.